Best of r/Choosing Beggars episode 23. I work in public safety, and the toy program is a year-round effort that becomes the center of attention this time of year, and in the weeks leading up to it. We have hundreds of volunteers collecting, sorting and distributing toys. The metropolitan area near where I live has countless families, thousands, that rely on the generosity of toy program to give their kids a memorable Christmas. Everything from Legos to bicycles. You name it, we got it. Yesterday, I helped with a toy distribution event at the local YCMA. When we arrived with toys, the line of families was around the block. Families line up, register at the door and get wristbands, and then get free pizza, and each child gets 2 free toys selected for them based on age/gender, a free set of toy blocks, and a toothbrush, all donated, all organized by volunteers. Full stop. It was a madhouse. To be expected, but it was made even worse by the parents who tried to finagle and argue about what toy their child got. My child doesn't like this, we want something else, and we already have 2 of those at home. I need you to exchange this or you have Legos. I can see them plain as day over there. My son wants that. We had one volunteer with a megaphone telling families they got what they got. They can't exchange what toy they were given. And once they got their toys they needed to move aside so more families could filter through the process. We had to remind parents, you are not shopping, you are receiving a donation. You can take it, or you can leave it. You don't get exchanges. You guys, the level of attitude and disrespect from, mostly, parents, and some children was mind-blowing. These people are getting free shit, and they wanted to sit and argue about it. I expected a little bit of this, but not to the degree of how it happened. I would say at least half of the parents tried to fight over free toys. The saying is true, no good deed goes unpunished. Thank you. Next. This happened last night and it was one of the most satisfying encounters I've ever had with someone with a downright comical sense of entitlement. I took a flight from San Francisco to Boston that was in the afternoon after a full day of work. I have a $200 airline credit to use on just this one flight before I lose it at the end of the year, so I was debating between trying to drink through $200 of free booze over the 6-hour flight versus upgrading my seat to the front row. In the end I decided to go with a seat upgrade and I picked the window seat in the absolute front row of the plane with a shameful amount of leg room and an empty middle seat. I never get upgrades, so this felt like quite the luxury to me. Turns out the rest of the plane was completely full, so I was feeling pretty good about this decision. However, I still had some work to do on my laptop and was disappointed that because there were no seats in front, I could not keep my backpack in front of me, and I realized I had to go fight the mob of people still boarding for some overhead bin space before they all filled up. There was a very nice businessman sitting in the aisle seat in my row who stood up to help me. This is relevant later. Thank you. Next. As a uni student, I am really broke myself and struggle to afford certain things. But I always try and help out homeless people if I can. I usually just buy a few cans of pop and a couple packets of crisps and give them out to the homeless people in the town center. Anyways, there is a homeless guy, CB, who I felt really sorry for after learning his story of how he ended up on the streets. With this particular homeless guy, I would go above and beyond what I did for other homeless people. I once gave him my last 10 quid so he could buy shoes. I've given him my KFC which I was gonna eat for dinner. One day, I was walking through the town center and I encountered my first ever choosing beggar situation. Me. Hi sis. How are you? Weather is terrible today. Enter usual small talk. Me. I've got to run. I have work in 5 minutes. CB, have you got any change so I can buy something to eat? Me, I'm really sorry but I don't have any change on me at the moment. CB, but I'm super hungry. Me, I'm going to be late for work, but if you're here when I'm on the way back, I'll bring you some food. I worked in McDonald's so it won't be an issue. CB, huffed and rolled his eyes. No one ever wants to help me. It's pissing it down. I'm hungry and no one cares. Can't you get cash from the cash point for me? At this point I was kinda pissed off. I do these things out of kindness and I'm under no obligation to do this. I explained that I won't withdraw any money right now and CB started with a whole rant about being treated like second-class citizens. I feel sorry for him but I won't be going out my way for him again. No special treatment anymore. I'm done. Thank you. Next. So I occasionally go to the junkyard, pull parts off of cars, and depending on what they are, I flip them on Facebook or eBay. I say depending as certain things aren't worth shipping weight wise. I have a buddy who works at a garage, so if there's an inspection or something I don't feel like doing, I go to him. I completely forgot my inspection as it was a stressful time for me and went in last day possible and my friend wasn't there. His boss/owner knows me, so he asked if I was okay with someone else rotating my tires while it was in, which of course I was okay with. When the inspection was done, this kid asked why I had an older GM radio in the back seat. I explained what I do like I did to you guys and went on my way. Another friend of mine pulled the radio thinking it was a good idea, except GM radios, don't know about others, need to be installed and unlocked at a dealership to make sure it's not stolen, so they're really not worth flipping. I just wanted my money back. So later that day I unloaded the parts out of my car and put the radio on Facebook for $15. Very fair for anyone who needs the radio replaced when brand new. They were about $100. The description mentioned the part about taking it to the dealership to be unlocked, so if anyone did want it I wasn't putting them in a bad position. I received a message an hour later for it from the kid who inspected my car and rotated the tires. He was super cool at first, just talking back and forth, then went on to tell me I was a thief for selling a radio that is not plug and play. I explained to him that it was $90 cheaper than new, it's for sale for what I paid, and there was a disclaimer about the dealership unlock. He took screenshots putting me on blast on Facebook. Didn't work too well as a lot of people around here buy parts off of me, so they immediately ganged up on him and he deleted posts before the end of the day. 2 days later, thinking nothing of it, I receive a message from him. He's sorry. He was drinking. Thought I was trying to screw someone over. Then he says he actually needs that radio for his Equinox. So I said okay cool, I just want $15 for it. Are you serious? I did your tire rotation for you. I inspected your vehicle. You only gave me a $20 tip and you want me to pay for a radio I can't just plug in and use. Now, I don't really think you have to tip a mechanic, but my buddy gets me a good prices so I always tip him. I figured it was only fair to tip this guy I never met before and now he wants to hold the amount against me. I told him to leave me alone, have a great night, and I blocked him. The next day someone's knocking on my door. It's the random mechanic from the shop that I never knew before this situation. He checked the copy of my license, found my address, and showed up to my house asking about the radio. He was super polite, so I shut the door, opened the garage, and showed him the radio. I'm a very trusting, forgiving, second chance guy. I see the good in people. Whatever. Wow man, it looks brand new. I can't find one for under $100 anywhere. What's wrong with it? I told him there's nothing wrong with it. I just want my money back. $15 for a $100 radio. He said that sounds reasonable, but without a box I don't trust that it works. You should just give it to me for free. So I asked him why he wants it for free so badly. I tipped him $20 for doing a pretty easy part of his job a few days ago. I can't give it away for free. He falls to his knees begging and pleading. It's my dad's car Equinox. I drive it to work every day because I don't have a car. I broke the radio when I was fighting with my mom on the phone. She was pissing me off, so I just started punching the radio. I can't control my anger, man. It's not fair that I have to pay for my dad's radio I broke. I was done. Harassment. Trying to publicly embarrass me. Finding my house by what must be illegal means. Me. Take the radio, man. I don't want my money anymore. If I never have to see you again, then free is the best price for both of us. I want you to take the radio and go home. CB, do you think I want your charity or something? Now I'm confused. Begging, bullying, stalking, for a cheap radio, that now he doesn't want for free. CB, I knew there was something wrong with it. You finally cracked and wanted it gone because you felt guilty that it didn't work. He proceeds to grab the radio, smash it into the ground repeatedly, gets in his car and calls the cops, refusing to leave his car when they show up because he felt like his life was in danger. Lo and behold, I'm a millennial, so I have screenshots of deleted posts, conversations, and security footage with volume in my garage. I didn't press charges as I felt like there was something a little wrong with him. But seriously, over a $15 radio that he felt he deserved, because he did his job as expected. I couldn't imagine myself in some of these situations you'll post, but I think I finally encountered my first CB, and he was a psycho. Thank you. Next. Sorry for my bad storytelling and grammar. I'm the manager at a pawn shop, and today one of the employees asked me to come to the front because someone was asking for the manager. I go up front and it's a woman tapping her fingers on the display case. I walk over to her and ask her, how may I help you? She then starts yelling at me that the employees won't sell her a PS4, Nintendo Switch and a few games to go with it, all for $30. I told her no one would sell all of those for $30. She then began yelling that it's for her kids, and if I don't sell her the games I would fuck up her kids' Christmas. After I made it clear no one would sell those items for that low, she called me a ching chong bitch and said everything in this store is used shit. Thank you. Next. Due to favorable winds, we arrived almost an hour ahead of schedule, so early that we couldn't disembark because there were no available gates. The lady next to me complained to her husband the entire time about how the wait was ridiculous and they should refund our tickets for making us wait this long. When a gate did free up and we were able to disembark, it was no later than we had originally been scheduled to arrive. Man face palming. Thank you. Next. This happened last night and it was one of the most satisfying encounters I've ever had with someone with a downright comical sense of entitlement. I took a flight from San Francisco to Boston that was in the afternoon after a full day of work. I have a $200 airline credit to use on just this one flight before I lose it at the end of the year, so I was debating between trying to drink through $200 of free booze over the 6-hour flight versus upgrading my seat to the front row. In the end I decided to go with a seat upgrade and I picked the window seat in the absolute front row of the plane with a shameful amount of leg room and an empty middle seat. I never get upgrades, so this felt like quite the luxury to me. Turns out the rest of the plane was completely full, so I was feeling pretty good about this decision. However, I still had some work to do on my laptop and was disappointed that because there were no seats in front, I could not keep my backpack in front of me, and I realized I had to go fight the mob of people still boarding for some overhead bin space before they all filled up. There was a very nice businessman sitting in the aisle seat in my row who stood up to help me. This is relevant later.